Hello, everybody. My name is Virginia, and this is the Living on the Verge podcast. Today is a great day for the podcast because it is our very first video podcast on YouTube. The Living on the Verge podcast has been around since February of this year, 2025, and this is our first episode in video and on YouTube. I could not be happier to be sharing this with you. I have a very special guest today. He is a really successful podcaster in his own right with all things reality TV. I consider him a Bravo expert, and I really enjoy his company. I first started listening to his podcast right back around when COVID started. And he's had this podcast since 2019. It's super successful, charts all the time. And I reached out to him when I had the idea to do a podcast myself because I thought that he could give me some good advice. And I had heard on one of his episodes that he has podcast consulting that he did part-time. Well, it has since blown up and it has become a company in its own right. And I reached out, and after chatting with him, I realized that we had a lot in common and we just got along very well. We made a date to have dinner in Hollywood. He's bi-coastal. He lives back in New York part of the year and in Hollywood other parts of the year. And I'm very excited. He's coming back very soon, so we're going to get together for dinner. We talked about that during the podcast. We also talk about everything from Tamra to Gretchen, Todd and Alexia. We talk a little bit about what might happen at BravoCon. And we also come upon some teachable moments in life. We couldn't get away without talking a little bit about Louis Vuitton and Gucci. And of course, we covered our mutual love of 80s and 90s culture, all things, but especially Melrose Place. And so I think it's a really good interview. I really adore David. He is smart. He is accomplished. He is got some great spins on things. And he is my new friend who I really enjoy talking reality TV and pop culture with. And I hope you'll enjoy this interview. So I'm going to get out of the way so that you could listen and watch. Hopefully you're able to watch on YouTube. If you're listening, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. It's Living on the Verge podcast on YouTube. And without further ado, my interview with my friend, the fabulous, behind the Velvet Rope podcaster, David Yontef. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Living on the Verge podcast. Thank you for joining us. Today I am with my friend, fellow podcaster of the very, very popular Behind the Velvet Rope, Mr. David Yontef. How are you, my friend?
What's going on? How are you today?
I am well. I have missed you. You've been gone all summer, but I am glad you're coming back soon.
This summer is a blur. This summer is just a blur.
It
Where
has
did it
been.
go?
Life has been a blur lately. I feel like the older you get, the faster it goes.
Seriously. That's why I try to just focus on the day at hand and we can worry about tomorrow.
Exactly. 1 minute at a
Right?
time. I have so much to talk to you about. It has been a summer full of Bravo craziness. The housewife shows are giving in their own ways or not.
They're
And
giving in their own ways.
yeah, exactly. Or not, like I said. And then I mean, why don't we just jump in? Let's talk about the fact that all of these podcasters are infiltrating the Housewives franchises. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I don't know. I have such mixed feelings about it. I mean, it's not like a bad thing. I mean, look, part of me is like, this is just the world that we live in. I feel like all the Bravo shows are also breaking the fourth wall, all of them in their own way.
Which I love. Don't you love it?
I love that. And so it's like maybe that is where reality TV is. It's not the same as it was 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, it's just this is what it is. So maybe this is really the only way to do reality TV. I mean, outside of the Bravo world, if you go into The Bachelor or Drag Race, I mean, they have their equivalent of bloggers and podcasters. I don't even like the term blogger. Not that I find it derogatory. It's just, I think it's
It's just not the
outdated.
right thing.
It's not the right thing. But, so like The Bachelor, there are Instagram pages that are huge in The Bachelor, Drag Race, podcasts. So I feel like every show has this. And maybe that is just the world we live in now, where people that do what you and I do have a voice and we are part of the story. And then part of me is like, look, Tamara said it herself. I mean, I hate to be a lawyer, even though I am one, and throw her words back in her face. But I don't know what season she said this, but she said in an interview, anytime the story is really centered around something that happened off air, that the audience isn't seeing, we have a problem.
It's true. Listen, th- what about Tamara and Gretchen this season? How are you feeling about where are you, first of all? I know you're not a big Tamrat fan, but talk to me about what you're thinking about this dynamic between these two.
Listen, it's not that I'm not a Tamara fan. I mean, I think Tamara is one of the greatest at the job, in the history of Housewives, of any franchise.
Agree.
I mean, she has lasted. She knows how to play the game. She is good at the job. And it is so evident this season that, like Kyle, she knows how to keep the story going and she knows how to produce on air from within. So
In the moment. Yeah, no
in the
kidding.
moment, and I think that people don't really realize that. You know what I mean? Like, that's a hard skill, and Kyle is great at it, and Tamara's great at it, and you kind of need it.
I was
So
just about to say it's necessary. Otherwise, what would we be doing, right? We'd be
totally,
watching Emily put raw eggs in her purse and for
totally.
Louis.
Totally. So, I mean, having said that, I really think Gretchen is great. I think Gretchen is not going to be fired. I think
I
I
don't
could even
either.
see Gretchen being upgraded. I think it's a successful comeback for Gretchen.
I agree with you. Do you think there's a place for Heather Dubrow anymore in Orange County?
No.
I don't either. Doesn't she seem like the outcast? I mean,
I
other
feel
than
like
aligning with Tamra, she really has absolutely no storyline this season.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like that. You know what the problem with Heather is like I like her, but she doesn't give. It's curated, If
Very
it's
much so.
not, so it has been for a while, and it's okay. And she was gone, and we needed her back, and she's very rich, and I love that on TV. But I think her time has come. We know who Heather is. We know who Terry is. I don't think she should go to Beverly Hills. I don't think they need her there.
No,
I
no,
would
no, I
just
don't either.
change the dynamic. Yeah, I think Heather isn't going. She's never going to give us much more. She doesn't want to. She wants a curated look. She's great at it, right?
Absolutely. And why should she have to? I mean, she's got more money than God. She should just go off into the sunset and play with Josh Flagg and see what they're going to get themselves into next.
Seriously, and she knows what to say and what not to say. She's very media savvy. I've had Heather and Terry on my podcast twice, three times, four times. I really love Heather, but I feel like she knows what to say. She's never going to get messy in the press the same way like Kathy Hilton always knows what to say. So it's been great. Yeah, I think it's time for her to go.
Yeah,
I
you're
do.
right. I met her at that filming event that I went to. And you're right, very measured, very sweet, But the second that she was done, she was done. She kind of looked around and said, oh, I'm thirsty. Okay, nice to meet you. And just kind of left. And I went, okay, that's interesting.
And
But
speaking of like bloggers and podcasters or whatever term you want, like Heather hosts in New York every single year a which she pays for because she could. She hosts every year with Terry a get together for podcasters, paid six, this one at this small publication. I
interesting.
mean, right now is she lovely and wonderful? No, that's you get the free food, you get the
Mhm.
mini burgers, you get the vodka for free. That's all because this is your way of saying we are going to say nice things about Heather, right? Like so,
Absolutely.
and I'm not knocking that at all, but no one else is doing that. It's a smart idea. She
I
does it
think it's a
every
smart idea
year.
too.
And I'm sure she does it in LA, but for the New York community, her and Terry come. They probably stay at the Waldorf now that it's open. Maybe the play,
Interesting.
but she does it, and you talk, and you get your picture, and it's media, and it's podcasters, and it's
That's crazy. I
small,
had no idea.
yeah, and it's Instagram accounts, and it's the kind of the movers and the shakers that are not Andy Cohen, but like on the B list, but it's to be in the good graces of the community. She doesn't say that, but that is what it is. And I
No,
am not
that's one
knocking
way to
it. It's
move the needle, man. Yeah.
really smart, right?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree with
how much
you.
does that cost her? $5,000, $10,000 to rent out a place, and probably not 5,000 in New York, but it's great, right? So
Yeah, smart idea.
I guess that's a long answer for yeah. I think it's time for Heather to go.
Well, we're on the same page there. Okay, I've been listening a little bit to your podcast and I hear what you have to say about Miami. Let's get into Miami and tell me what your thoughts are on this current season.
God, I don't. I mean, people like this season. I don't get it. What am I missing?
Okay, so I'm on the other side. Let's talk
You
about it.
like it?
Yeah, well,
A lot of people
I
like
don't
it.
not like it. So I want
Okay.
to know what it is that you're missing. Let's see if we can pick it apart. So I'll
You know
tell
what
you
it
what I
is?
don't like. I
Okay.
don't like Gertie. I don't like how she's coming across this season. I really am troubled by the fact that her diagnosis has become the impetus for her being able to treat people any damn way she pleases. Not okay with that. I am, however, liking the new Lisa. Miss Little Feisty Lisa is really bringing it. And I don't know. I know you do not. You're done with Marisol. You're done with Alexia. You think they're done. I feel that Marisol needs a mojito and that we need to get rid of, well, I think it's time. Don't come at me. I know you're a Larsa
No.
lover, but I can't do Larsa, man. She's driving me nuts this season.
Well, I understand why. You know what it is? I think it's that I get it, but to me, I just think we're not going to get rid of Larsa. So I think when I know that, I just it's not whether I like you or not. I kind of
Yeah.
like Tamara. Kind of like Tamara. Now, I'm not saying Larsa is as great as the job as Tamara because she's not. You know what it is? I don't mind Alexia and Marisol. A couple of problems I have with Miami. I find most of the women on, and not everyone, so this is not, but I find a lot of them just knowing them in real life. I find them now. I know you could say this about any franchise, but I find them so thirsty. And so, to me,
Hmm.
once I find you thirsty, I can't watch. This is just me. Certain scenes organically. Now I'm like, you want your moment. You want your moment now. You already like. So that is how I feel about Alexia and Marisol. But there's
For
plenty of
sure.
others.
For sure, Alexia and Marisol, they're definitely thirsty. I'll give you that. And
There's is there even anything wrong with that? You want to keep your job of many hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like I'm not even criticizing this. I just then don't find it organic and it takes me out of just watching. Like Salt Lake, Meredith and Lisa and Whitney and Heather are and Mary. Well, let's not even get into Mary because Mary's not thirsty. But even the other four, they love their job.
oh
They
yeah,
love their money. I don't find them thirsty. I find them organically themselves.
they're incredibly quirky. Yeah, but listen, what about the notion of a Miami without Alexia and with Marisol? Don't you find her completely different when Alexia's not with her?
I find a lot of people different when the other one's not there. And
Like
listen,
Emily and Gina?
like Emily and Gina, and look, I'm not age shaming because I'm not no spring chicken either. I just think, I don't know, I feel like Miami just needs a whole, and I
A
don't think
refresh.
And Stephanie ain't it. Stephanie ain't
No.
it.
I cannot. I'm so conflicted. So listen, I miss the old days of the opulence, and that's why we watched Beverly Hills. That's why we watched Orange County for a while there.
Hmm.
And I kind of miss that. So at first I was really hard on her on the podcast, and I was just like, why is this woman leading with her money and blah blah blah. And then I said, you know what? I stand corrected. I'm going to lean into the fact that she's leading with her money, and I'm going to go back to those days where I really appreciated the opulence of it all. And then this last week, I was like, okay, now she's not just leading with her money, but she's bullying with her money. And it's just so off putting. I mean, I know a lot of people with money that don't conduct themselves that way. So I agree with you. I don't think she's the answer. I'm a little disappointed. And I see where you're coming from with without age shaming, saying that they need somewhat of a little refresh. I get it. I just don't know what the answer is there, and I don't want them to screw the franchise up because they've done that before. And I
Right.
think they have something going right now.
Right, like we've done that, and I really do think they are way more. Look, we ruined New York.
Right?
They really didn't do so right by Atlanta. We
No,
did we overextended our hand there, and I really think after New York, we'll never have a full reboot again ever. We would have
I
had it in
agree.
Atlanta. So we did this hybrid, and that wasn't exactly well. That's why Jersey's still on pause because they can't figure out what to do. So I agree. Like I don't think that that is really the answer. I don't. But I don't like I look, I think if you step out of it with who you like and don't like, I just think Lisa and Larsa are more on brand
Absolutely.
for the future just of housewives than Alexia and Marisol. They're more malleable. Marisol sticks out, Alexia sticks out. Listen, it has been a great run. I just think it's time. I really think, look, they didn't know what to do this season with the cast. I'm convinced that Alexia was close to being on the chopping block this
Mm-hmm.
season.
I agree.
And then maybe Marisol would have gone, and then this whole thing with Todd arose, this divorce, so to speak. Well, we're not doing two seasons of the divorce no matter what happens
No,
now.
God
It's
help
like
us. Please
Todd
no.
could explode something and it could get so bitter, we're done.
He's
So
already diarrhea of the mouthing all over the internet. It's just not flattering. I don't know where this guy comes from. He just gives me the ick.
And by the way, I mean, Julia is not going to be gone because of what Martina said and
No.
Andy's mad. She's going to be gone because she too is not on brand. It's been enough, and she's just not a likable human being
She is
on the
not,
show.
right? She just comes across so dry. My husband was watching the other day and he goes, "Who's the old lady?" I said, "Honey, she's actually among the younger ones of the group. That's
Yeah,
just the way she comes across. It's
that is.
wild."
So I think like those two plus Julia, I don't disagree with you about Gertie. I think a lot of people feel that way.
It's so sad because I really loved her.
I do. And look, I think she is more on brand than Alexia and Marisol. Just for the future, we gotta change the narrative. And look, I don't really am not such a huge fan of Dr. Nicole, but I too love the opulence. And I mean, when Dr. Nicole has
Mhm.
said numerous times, I will come back if certain people are gone, she means Alexia and Marisol.
I'm
Let's be very
aware.
clear.
Yeah, to be
So
determined.
so if you bring her back and then you have others like her, it could work. I mean, I don't know what you do with Adriana. I love her. I don't think she should
I do
go,
too.
but I guess that's a little bit, what's the word? A little bit hypocritical because in a
I
way
know.
she is the
She's
same
the
as
senior,
Lexi.
right?
She
Yeah.
is the senior. So
She doesn't
I
look
don't
like the
know.
senior. Boy,
No,
that
she doesn't.
facelift is
And
everything.
there's no age, it's not age shaming. I actually love my housewives 50s and 60s. I just think it's not where the network is going.
I agree with you. And you know what? That's a perfect opportunity to move on to the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, and that is Next Gen NYC. So we both really like this, and I happen to think this, might be the future of where we're going with Bravo. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's considered a huge hit for the network. The ratings weren't great, but they did slowly get better.
Did you expect to like it as much as you
No,
did?
I expected to hate it.
I was mind blown. I remember when we had lunch and we were waiting for this to start, and we were like, oh, great, another show. We're not going to like it. And 2 episodes in, I was completely enthralled. I'm like, wait a minute. This is not even supposed to be for my demographic.
And people say things to me like, I got a DM the other day. I'm a 65-year-old grandma. I have to tell you, I love Next Gen and I love Next Gen. Like, I just think, look, it's considered a success because the ratings were not great, but they increased. It was the highest engaged show I read something about for a first season on TikTok ever.
Oh,
So
wow.
it is doing what they want it to do. It is bringing
Correct.
a younger
It's
audience into
broadening the audience.
Bravo.
Yep, yep. And it's keeping the housewives demographic because we want to see how the kids turned out and how these parents did with these little critters.
The way that they're working in the mothers is so smart.
Smart, but sometimes exhausting. I had a little bit too much Teresa. That one scene where she called, where Gia's having the party and she called and she said, I'm watching through the cameras. That was so creepy. And I thought, this girl's just trying to have her 2 scenes. And I like that they threaded them in because it gives us the ability to, the recognizability, if you will. But I don't like that they were doing it too frequently. And I was kind of wondering, is this what they are trying to achieve? Are they trying to somehow bring them in more and more? Because that's not what we want, right? I don't think anybody wants
No,
that.
no, we don't want that. And look, we're doing it, I mean, the way that it's, now we're spinning off LA. And yeah, I didn't expect to like it and I loved it. And I agree. I don't know. It's just new. It's novel. It's interesting to watch these young people. I don't know. I just think it's good. It's
And I
good.
did not expect to love Ariana as much as I did. She is by far the greatest fresh breath of air. Honest to goodness, I was like, wow, Kim Zolciak. Okay, maybe I should rethink my theory because she's got a beautiful little girl there. She's a smart girl. She's kind, and I think that she is by far the breakout star of the series. Don't you agree?
I agree. I loved her. I don't know if it's because she was younger and grew up being like, you look at this craziness that's existing on reality TV in my house. And I don't know. I really thought I would hate her possibly the most. I
Same.
agree. I think she is the breakout star, and I thought she was absolutely great.
And what do you think of Riley? Because my opinion of her changed throughout the course of the season. How about you?
My opinion of her changed, I think, slightly for the better. I get it. I think she's needed on the show. At first, I was like,
She's a little aloof, right?
and like a little boring. I'm like, okay,
Uh-huh.
this is how Candy was. I love Candy, but by the end, I'm like, okay, I'm liking me some Riley. Like,
Yeah, there's a
she's
place
not,
for her.
yeah, she's not going anywhere. I'm like, okay, I like this.
Okay, and here's the big one, Charlie. Do we keep him or do we get rid of him?
I think they're gonna keep him, and I'm
I
okay
agree.
with them keeping him.
I agree.
I don't think they're going to fire him. I think if anything, he'll just be like, this is ridiculous. This has been a huge waste of my time. Granted, I don't know what else you're doing for
I was gonna
money.
say, what's he gonna do? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's
So
the fodder that this show needs. He really does move the storyline. He's the person everybody talks about when he's out of the room. So what would we do without Charlie?
Spencer Pratt has a podcast now with Heidi. He should call him on. They should do here's how you should navigate this. You're going to be completely hated and just lean into it. And
I
I
agree.
mean, I built a whole career on it and don't worry about it.
Right? Yeah, no, that's the way to go. Okay. So let's move on and talk a little bit about New Jersey. I know we don't really know what's going on, but what do you think? Do you think New Jersey is going to be the big BravoCon announcement? Do you think New York will be the big BravoCon announcement? You know more about anybody than New Jersey. Come on, David.
I think they could potentially both be the big BravoCon announcement, but I think New Jersey is going to. I think rolling out the cast of Real Housewives of Rhode Island, that they'll all come out. I mean, because that's filmed. It's not done filming, but it will be by the time BravoCon is here. So I think the big announcement will be like, here is the cast of Real Housewives of Rhode Island, which you all know is coming, and here they are. I think that'll be it. And I do think New Jersey is going to be announced at BravoCon. I just feel it.
And
We're
so
so close at this point, right? September to no,
yeah,
it's like right, like we've waited. I think that's the deadline. You could keep going forever, but you got to make a decision. So I think that's it. I think they're going to make a real decision by that time.
well, they've certainly been punished enough, but I just don't know if we know what we want yet as an audience because you listen to, one podcast and their Team Teresa, you listen to another, and God forbid Teresa return to our televisions, and then another one, Teresa gets a spinoff. So, I mean, it's just a matter of what side of the fence you fall on. I have never been a Teresa fan, so I would be fine never ever seeing them. But then again, Melissa and Joe could be kind of boring. So, it's kind of hard to know what we really want. I know what we don't want, and that's more of the same, right?
I think like Melissa is it, really. I'm team nobody either.
Right.
Really, the problem is I just don't see Teresa blending at all with anyone. That is my problem. I mean,
Right.
yes, could Melissa be interesting on her own? I don't know. I mean, there's a rumor, a fake rumor. I read that Marge is going to be the center because Melissa isn't interesting on her own. But we are going to have new, right? We're going to have new people. So it is going to be an ensemble cast. So I do think it'll be interesting to see Melissa get along with someone, fight with someone
No
that's
kidding.
not Teresa. Just be a malleable person.
Be
Like,
her own person. Yeah, not
yeah, like,
Teresa's
okay, you
sister-in-law.
don't
Mhm.
like this one, you're fighting. And let's face it, Melissa will be there and she'll film the scene and she'll walk off and be like, this is a joke. Like, I'll fight with you all day. Like, this
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
fight. Let's fight over the coffee or the cake or whatever you
Yeah.
want. So it will never be bad. It's like Erica Jane after Tom, those seasons. She's just like, all right, it's my season next season. You want to bring me drama? And I mean, granted, she has more drama now with like the court cases,
Oh
but
goodness, that's going to be
right?
something.
But after that, it's like I don't think Erica could have done any like it was like a joke to her. She's like, "This my life is great," and you see it. You see a very light Erica because she's like, "No, it's this season is not even close to the
Right. I've
hell."
been through the darkness.
So I think that would be interesting to watch with Melissa. To be honest with you,
That's a good point.
I mean, same thing with like Dolores. She seems to have like a voice these days
Right?
more
She's all
so.
over the place. I used to like Dolo a little bit more than I like her now. I don't know if it's overexposure. She's highly opinionated and not very accurate in her opinions.
Not very accurate, but like to me, it's like bring that back. Like, if
Right.
you were afraid of losing your job and you had to kiss the ring of Teresa for all these years, well, she ain't going to be there. So it's like the franchise has changed. You already lost your job. It's been off the air for 2 years, basically. Like, so when you come back, bring an opinion.
Come
Like,
back
you,
with a
sir,
vengeance.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you have one off air. So bring one on air. Like, I guess that's my big thing for Dolo is to
Yeah, that's
bring.
a good point. She definitely is capable of it. So let's see it on screen. Yeah.
Let's see it
And
on
we
screen.
saw glimpses of it, but never she's always kind of been the wet noodle of the group, in the most loving way. Ha ha ha.
Exactly. So I think she should, so for me, I really just think it's time for Teresa to leave. I do.
Now, okay. I hope that we have okay. Do you think there'll be a spinoff for Teresa
I'm so torn. I'm
following the,
so
the tax
torn.
stuff and her running around and, performing in every little boutique or little store that'll take her?
I mean, the thing is, they don't really want that. Like, I don't think they want to talk about the taxes. They also, I don't think, want to talk to Louis. I really don't. It's
I
nothing
I
against
think
him.
Louis done. So then there is nowhere to go. We've got Gia already busy, right? The other kids are in school. What is there to follow if not the drama behind their alleged criminal activity?
I think if Teresa got a spinoff, it would be the same way the New York OGs got a show. It would be just to get people over the initial shock that there'll be no Teresa on RHOJ. Like, give her a
Yeah.
spinoff a spin-off, and then after one season when it doesn't do so great or they don't know what to do with it, it will be over.
Then people
I
will be
mean, that
okay
is
being
what they
done
did
with
with
it.
New
Mhm.
York. Instead of having everyone freak out, they're like, no, wait, there's good news. There's two shows. And people are like, oh, wow, how great is this?
That was the stupidest decision ever.
So I think that is what would happen is that they would say, okay, everyone's going to go crazy. That's a Teresa fan. Well, no, she's getting her own show. Like, how powerful is that? Like,
Yeah, no.
she's
I'll
above
let you
it.
watch that one for me and let me know what you think. I'm okay.
I don't think it's going to be so great. So, but I think that would get people over whatever angst they have about team this or team that. It would be like a win for both. But I don't know what the spinoff is going to be. And I do not think it's going to involve Louis. I think Gia would probably be on it. I think her being on Next Gen is actually a help for Teresa getting a spinoff. But I don't know where it's going to go,
Yeah,
long term,
I
so to
agree with you.
speak.
Well, maybe that's exactly what'll happen. We need to calm the tree huggers down so we don't have an online melee.
I think that is exactly what's going to happen. And then it just is what it is. And it's time to like move on.
Yeah, well, I'll be busy that day. Okay, let's move on to Beverly Hills. What are you hearing about Rachel Zoe? I hear she's causing some drama over there.
I mean, listen, I don't think I think she's going to be polarizing in the sense that if she gets a great edit the first season, I don't think like she's going to have years of just being a fan favorite. I think they're going to do her dirty
Mm-hmm.
either in the first season or probably the second or third season. I think she's going to be a great fit and she's going to be there for a long time because I think she knows what to do. I truly think she is one of these. Look, having your own show, the Rachel Zoe Project, is much different than being a housewife. It was
Right.
a docu-series about your life. You weren't fighting with people. You were the boss. We
Yeah,
weren't
she was the
delving
bad
into your
bitch. Yep.
personal shit. But I
Hmm.
do think that she understands the difference. And I think she knows what she is signing up for. And I actually think, love her or hate her, she is going to be good at the job and be there for a bunch of years. I do.
Okay, well, from your lips, man. Let's see what happens.
That's what I think.
Do you think Denise Richards that there's a place for her to come back full time? Do you think that's why they
No,
canceled the Wild Things? Because I kind of like that little show. I was kind of bummed about it.
I like that show. No, I don't think that she. Well, I mean, look, I think no, I don't. I think we tried Denise as a housewife. It didn't
Mm.
really work.
You
I
don't
know
think there'll
she
be a different
filmed.
dynamic now that Aaron's gone? I feel
y-
like part of what she was, part of who Denise was a shell of herself because of Aaron.
Well, they need to then really have a coming to Jesus chat with her about what to do, so to speak.
And what not to do.
What to do and what not to do. But look, I don't think it's happening this season. I mean, she filmed a scene with Erica and Sutton, but she's not back. I mean, she's not coming
Yeah.
back. Like
No,
the
I haven't
season's
heard of any other
well,
sightings
yeah.
either. Mm-mm.
So, in the future, yeah, sure. I don't hate that idea. I
Okay.
have more faith in Rachel Zoe being a long-term
Yeah, I'm
hire.
excited to see what she does to the dynamic over at Beverly Hills because honestly, it was getting kind of old. I struggled to get through that season. Podcasting, I was like, "Oh, I'm so excited. Beverly Hills is coming back." Oh, crap. When is Beverly Hills going to be over? Like,
I think she's a good hire. I think she's a really good hire.
well, you would know, my friend. You seem to know all things Bravo.
I think it's
And
going to work out.
yeah, that's good. Okay, let me ask you. Well, let's talk a little bit more about BravoCon. Do you think that the new VPR kids will show up?
Hmm.
I haven't heard of them being announced, but I was at a filming, so I know who a lot of them are,
Maybe
right? I feel like there may
the
be an
timing might
unveiling.
work for that.
And do you think then that any of the older cast, well, the I guess older is the wrong word, but the original cast will show up, not those that are supposedly rumored to be going on the Valley.
Is anyone confirmed? No, no one's like Sheena. None of them are on the list, right?
Well, I know Tom Schwartz is, but of off the top of my head, he's the only VPR person that I can remember actually being confirmed. I know the Valley people were, so if you're on the
And
Valley,
Tom
yeah.
Schwartz is too?
Yeah,
Interesting.
Tom Schwartz he did some of the promos, as a matter of fact. I spoke to him
Oh,
right after he did them. And then I saw them and I was pretty surprised because, yeah, he has no real home, right? But he's definitely going to be a fixture at BravoCon. So I was just curious what,
interesting.
what anybody thought about
Maybe
whether or
there'll
not
be a
they'll be there.
lot of reveals at BravoCon.
Maybe. You guys aren't going. I know you're not going, right?
No, you're going,
I
right?
am definitely going. I tried to convince Sarah, but I know she'll be relatively pregnant by then, and I would not want to go myself.
I'm definitely going to be covering it on Behind the Velvet Rope podcast all weekend. And it
Yeah,
really
let's
is
do some
truly
lives. That'll be fun.
it's truly easier for me to cover it for my audience sitting at home, as crazy as that may sound to people.
No, it doesn't sound crazy to me. I was there and it can be pretty hectic, but there is some value to being fed information live too. So that'll be
There
pretty
is.
cool. But yeah, we'll have to talk offline and see if we can't work something out. That'd be fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to some of the touchy subjects. I want to talk about Anna Kinkosas and weren't you in a podcast with her at one point? What happened?
For 2 seconds. I don't want to do it. I really wish there was a longer story. Listen, do I need to be better at saying no to people? I'm pretty good at saying no, actually.
No, I
You
think you're
know,
great at saying no,
I'm great at saying no, but
but you
I'm
also have a
not.
kind heart.
Well, no, I think what it is listen, everything is a learning experience, and I don't really say no to it's a great experience. I love when things don't work out because everything truly is learning experience.
Sure.
It's what did I learn? I learned that look, there was not that there's any time in my day, but there was this itch of like, I do podcast consulting in my spare time. I mean,
I
it's
do
not
know
my spare
that.
time, it's a whole business. You and I work together. So one thing I tell people is like, no, and people told me this. They're like, are you crazy? If you have a successful podcast, you don't moonlight on a second podcast. Lots of people have tried to start a second podcast because the theory is your first one is operating at maximum capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Have a second one. It can make more money and it's double. It doesn't really work like that. I think, if anything, having a podcast network, like I've toyed around with that. I'm not really interested in doing that, but I could start a podcast network and have 10 podcasts under me and make
You
money. And
probably could at this point. Yeah,
I
just
could
based off of your
100%. I could get
consultancy.
them ads. I can make them more money than they're making. I could do all of that. So I thought, yeah, I wanted to have a second podcast, not with her, just in general. It was something in the back of my mind that there was like, okay, here are the risks in my own mind, but I didn't really want to do that particular podcast. So, but I'm also not one to say no. I say yes to a lot of business opportunities. If someone brings me something and it was laid out for me, and it was like, all I have to do is say yes. I mean, here it is in front of me. Things were misrepresented about the amount of work I would be involved in. But, so it's like, I really believe that the thing that you don't want to do is sometimes the thing that is like, wow,
What should be
how,
for you?
or
Hmm.
like things just happen. You're like, God, this is the thing I never thought would be anything. And now look at it. So I was like, what if this is in front of me? All I have to do is say yes. And it was shoved down my throat. And I'm like, sure, why not? All I have to do is say yes to this. Then we recorded an episode and I was like, oh, these aren't my people.
Not for
Oh,
you. And
no.
you were able to figure it out that quickly, huh? Because you had worked with her before, right? So now are you guys strained now or is everything okay?
By the way, I am able to figure I say this, I quote Lori Grenier from Shark Tank all the time, who says, I can tell within seconds if it's a hero or a zero. That's a direct quote from Lori. This is why I do podcast consulting. I could tell just in business, like if I was on Shark Tank and I was a shark, I could tell in podcasting, especially if the branding of it, the name of it, if it's a hero or a zero within seconds. then you actually record an episode or see who you're going to be working with, and you're like, yeah,
Prove
no,
myself right.
this is a complete disaster in so many ways. So, yeah, and like, yeah, so yes, I could tell right away. And two, I really do believe this. It costs you more to stay on the wrong train than to get off the wrong train at the right
Absolutely.
stop. So I believe in business, in life, when it is a wrong decision, you know yourself. Have some faith in yourself. You
Right.
know, get off the damn train immediately, ASAP.
Yeah.
So, really looking back, again, phenomenal, phenomenal experience because I could honestly say, I will never ever say, maybe I should have a second podcast, which I did for a long time. It's even if I did it alone, it doesn't make sense financially to do. You
It's a
just
lot of work, this podcasting. I think people think it's just all fun.
It's yes. And by the way, to have another episode on Behind the Velvet Rope, which is a huge podcast, way bigger than that one ever will be, that is a more better use of my time. If I
Correct.
really have some time in the day, which I don't, we could do 10 episodes a week instead of 9. That 10th episode that I did, even if it was for 10 minutes, would be more financially beneficial to my bottom line than having a whole second episode. So I knew this, but how great an experience was that I can say now, oh, I know. It's just
Been there,
another
done
thing.
that. Yeah,
Yes.
now you knew what now you know what you knew for sure,
It's
right?
one of the best two things that has happened to me since I started this podcast. The other thing was I had a regular co-host on my Patreon every Saturday.
I was just going to ask you about that.
And then that didn't work out after a while. And that was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. This thing, other podcast was second, because the first thing, the best thing is, look, I think when you build a brand, consistency is key. I tell that to everybody. That is the
Right.
thing we do with podcasting when we start out and everyone's paying for me to give them the side lectures. And I mean, I do consulting and I say consistency is key. That is the key. If it's an hour, it should be 50 minutes. Like, so I was really worried, even though I was like in my 4th year at that time, that a change, I didn't care about the change. The change was necessary. Again, let's go back to the like, if you're on the wrong bus, you should just get off it or
Yep.
train. I prefer a train to a bus for a lot of reasons. But the point is, I wasn't worried about myself. I was like worried about the audience. Like it's such a big change for the audience. Like this is going to be a disruption. Don't worry about me. I don't want to do this no more with this person. But the thing is, when that happened and it didn't, my numbers are gazillion times bigger than when that person was even there. So
Right.
when that happened and the bottom did not fall out, and in fact, it increased everything, I was like, this is a brand. That was really the number one thing that changed my whole
Wow.
idea. I mean, I was successful before then. I was on the right track. There was lots of wins, but that was probably the single biggest thing that made my eyes open to, like, I don't have imposter syndrome. I'm very confident in what I'm great at, and I'm horrible at a lot of other things. But that was the thing that was like, if this major programming on Saturdays is completely changed now, and nobody's leaving, and actually a lot of people are coming because they didn't like this other person, that's where it's like, this is like a bona fide certified brand, said with no ego. That is where the light bulb went on to me of like, oh, we can have any change now. This is like, this one doesn't want it, this one wants out. And it also made me realize, ain't nobody gonna be a regular Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yes, Sarah is regular Thursdays and Fridays, although today we have an episode with Sarah as a bonus, but that is when like the
Now
lights
you're just
went
playing.
on for me. Yeah, and like we have a cast of characters, much like Jeff Lewis, like
Listen,
has
I
his
think that
chumps.
that's beautiful. That was one of the best pieces of advice you gave me because I remember really being kind of afraid to head out on my own. It's kind of hard to just sit there and talk at nothing and not really know what's being taken in, what people don't want to hear, what people do want to hear. There's nobody to bounce anything off of, so you really have to have a certain gift that I didn't know if I possessed. And I remember you saying, no, just do it. If you want to bring people on occasionally, do that. And that has definitely worked for you. You know, you have Paul and Patrick, you have Amir, you have Sarah. I
Melissa
love that.
Rivers.
Yes. And I love that. I love the idea of, pod swapping maybe a couple times a month with someone, but retaining control over your own brand in every other way. It has served me well. It's been a little bit hard sometimes because there are certain things you do want to kind of bounce off of other people. And it does make for a different podcast. You know, when you podcast with Sarah, it's very different than when you're alone. Um, and
Completely.
and they're both good just in different ways. But for me, I think that that is probably the best piece of advice you gave me with regards to getting started. So I appreciate it. I've kept it up. I'm currently seeking someone to partner with occasionally, just like you do, because I think it's great to be able to have that for big moments. You know, God forbid there be another scandal. Need somebody to talk to about that.
There will be
Yes, there
at
will
some
be.
point.
Well, as we get ready to come to the end here, I wanted to tell you how I knew I liked you. So there was a point here where I said, well, first of all, we talked, and right away I felt like we just had a nice banter. But then we got together and we had dinner. And I realized all of this nonsense, all of this podcasting and bravo-ness and all of those things aside, we actually had a lot in common. We're both kind of like 80s, 90s fanatics, and I would live the
Fanatics.
rest of my life following these people around if I could. Melrose Place, hands down, my favorite show back in the day. So the Go-Go's, also probably one of my favorite groups back in the days. When I first started singing, that was one of the groups that I covered regularly. And what do you think your favorite like Melrose Place storyline was that you remember?
And I just saw Heather Locklear this past weekend. I was at a convention.
So that was in real time. How's she doing?
Well, I don't know if it was in real time because I've been to so many conventions this year of the
I
80s
never
and
know with
90s.
you. I look at the
I'm a
pictures and
little
I'm like,
behind and I've
yeah,
seen
should I be
Heather.
offended that he didn't invite me or was this last summer?
No, a lot of things. No, we're not that far behind on posting, but Heather Locklear is one that I will meet over and over and over because my favorite Melrose storyline. I mean, I loved Lisa Rinna on Melrose. I mean, it's gotta be like I mean, the best scene to me, if I just don't try to overthink it, it is Kimberly pulling off that damn fucking wig.
I was
That's
thinking the same
I
thing.
mean, there's so many other good moments, but if I don't really want to like you just go with what comes to your mind. That's it. Because that was at that time so shocking. Yes, then we blew up the apartment building and we had Sydney and that opened a whole nother can of worms. And but
Yes.
that pulling off that wig was really before the show was like, oh my God, anything could happen. That was one of the prime moments.
That show was just, I mean, if I had something to do and I
Brilliant.
couldn't tune in, forget about it. We had watch parties. Our meals were, organized around what we were eating for Melrose night. I those days are just gone. We just don't get that anymore, you know? Like Knots Landing was one of my all-time favorites.
I
And
saw those people 2 weeks ago. I saw Donna
see, that's
Mills and
just not
Joan
okay,
Van
David.
Ark.
This is when you need a plus one,
Well, none
man.
of this was in LA. One was in
Regardless,
Toronto and one
I
was
know how to
in,
take an airplane.
okay. And one was at South Fork in Texas, which they
Oh,
do
cool. Oh,
usually
the
every
Dallas
year.
group?
Yeah, it was Dallas and Knots Landing and Three's Company
Oh,
because
wow.
Jenny Lee Harrison from
Yeah, I
Three's
saw
Company
those
was, yeah,
pictures. I
so it
didn't
was like a
realize they
crossover.
were, I didn't realize that had just happened. Yeah, you'll
So
have to
there's
think about
that.
me. Let me know when you're going to the next one.
I
That's
love going to
literally
things
when
like
I
that.
went, you know what? All this Bravo craziness and the fact that, yeah, he's a podcaster and I could use his expertise, all of that's great. But we could just sit and talk all the other stuff for
It's
hours. And
always about the 80s and 90s with music
yes.
and TV for me.
That's how I knew. And then my husband said, "So how was dinner with David?" And I said, "I think I found my new husband. I've always wanted one."
You're like, he's in LA part time.
He's in LA just enough time for it not to become an issue. So you're coming back soon, and we'll have to go. We still haven't done Craig's.
We can do that. And I'm glad I could help you in the beginning with your podcast. I mean, I really do podcast consulting. It's not, it's like, listen, I'm working with someone now on a long-term basis, like on a regular and same thing. She just brought up a co-host the other day, and I told her this. Like, I cannot make the decision. Everyone needs to make the decision. I'm just thinking, look, there's plenty of co-hosts that work out. I just give someone all the things to think about because she's now like, oh God, I'm like, I'm not talking you out of it. I'm just giving you ways that it could go awry and just things you should be. Well, so I'm glad I was able to help you too.
Absolutely. I interviewed Scott Nathan the other day, and we were talking about our lunch. And Musso and Frank came up, and I said, "You know what? I don't think David's been there either."
I've
I said,
never been there.
"We
Nope.
need to do this." Like it just, we keep saying it, and then, well, life gets to lifing. Okay, real quick before I let you go, I know you're a Louis Vuitton girl.
Yes, I am.
Tell me why Gucci's out for you.
Well, I think that I'm open to coming back to Gucci, but where is it as a brand? They're not doing much
Quickly
interesting
losing
and
ground.
creative. Quickly losing ground. And I feel like it's just cheapened just a little bit. And I don't mean in the price of it.
No, God forbid.
So, I mean, listen, I have Gucci bags that I love that I'm not giving away. So it's not out, but it's out. Like
You're just not currently
I used to
invested.
go into Gucci and be like, oh my God. Now it's like, why do I even bother anywhere? Like to me, it's like if I want bags or something, there's no place.
Louis
Just go to
Vuitton
Louis.
in Rome. Oh my gosh. Have you been to that, Louis?
Nope.
Three stories. It is like a Disneyland dream for Louis Vuitton lovers. It was so amazing.
And they're not slowing down. I have slowed down. I have pulled myself a little
Same.
bit back to like reality this year of like, there's always going to be, I mean, Pharrell is killing it. I mean, there's new seasons every other day. So it's
Right.
like, yeah, you don't need to get everything you want right now. It's always on the third party sites, you
But you know
know?
what? They're not losing value. Unlike some of these
No,
others, they're just not losing value. I guess that and Birkin, right? But I'm never going to buy a Birkin. It's just never going to be in the
it's
in the
not my
cards for me.
thing
It's
either. I
just
mean,
not
I
what I
also think
want.
I think it's a waste.
I agree with you. I mean, I think there's a limit for everybody. I love fine things, but there's definitely a limit. Yeah. Well, I'm excited that you're coming back very soon here, and we'll have to get together and do either Musso and Frank's or Craig's.
I'm like about
I
Musso and Frank's.
Yeah, let's do that. Because you know why? Because we were going to Craig's for the very cold martini, and I went in there during Pride Week and had it. It's not all that.
See, and I've never been to Musso Frank's, and I can walk there from my house.
Yeah, yeah. I'll go stay at the same place I always stay. Maybe I'll run into my housewife friend this time.
You
And
might. And yes, if anyone wants to listen to Behind the Velvet Rope podcast, we talk Bravo for 9 shows a week. Sometimes we have Bravo celebrities on. Sometimes it is me solo. Sometimes it's me with a whole cast of characters. We break down the shows Behind the Velvet Rope, wherever you get your podcasts.
yes, sir. And now tell them all about your podcasting, but consulting as well.
Yes, and I mean, really, I started podcast consulting on the side, which has become like a full-time job in addition to running a podcast because I really outsourced every single thing when I started my podcast, and I did not know how to do anything. Mic, sound, editing, advertise, just nothing. And I slowly could not wait for other people to get things done. And I slowly taught myself every single thing. Like there's no ego when I say I could start a podcast company tonight. And I mean, we could do ad sales and I could have 10 podcasts under me and I would get them ads and I would take a percentage and it could be a whole business. But that is a whole different thing. And I know myself. And it's like,
Where would you find the time?
yeah, where would you find the time? And it's not, the concept of it is easy. I could do someone's editing. I can get people to do the editing. I can get you ads. I know how to do it all. It's a real podcast network I could start. But the thing is, now you are managing people. And I have managed people in past careers. And people want things. And so someone's going to be upset that they're not getting enough ads on the third week and this and that. And
Then you have the personalities to deal with.
and it's just like, why am I complicating my life more at this point? So maybe one day. I always joke when I'm canceled and nobody wants to listen to my podcast anymore. If that ever happens, maybe I'll just start a company.
Well, I'm sure I'm on the list of people you'll call. So
Yes, I will.
I'll be waiting for that call. David, this has been so much fun. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
They can go to Behind Velvet Rope. There's no the in the title, but it's the Behind the Velvet Rope on Apple, but Behind Velvet Rope on Instagram, Behind the Velvet Rope on YouTube. Check us out and listen. It really is 95% Bravo, what we talk about.
Yes. And if you want to look into his podcast consulting, you could DM him, hit him up on Instagram. David's a good guy. He's given me some good advice, keeps my head up when I'm trying to ask myself why I'm doing this some days. But I am having a good time. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Anytime.
And
I'll
we
come
will,
back anytime you want.
I love that. We will talk again soon. Call me offline. Let's plan a date for Musso and Frank.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Be well, David.
Thanks for having me. Keep in touch. And
You too.
I'm back in like the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm going to be there a lot in September, so I'll send you a text.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
All
Be
right.
well, my
Good,
friend.
good seeing you.
Likewise. Bye bye now.
Bye.